A couple from Islington have told ITV News how they were duped into handing over thousands of pounds to a bogus landlord on the promise of a flat. It was only when they returned to the property a few days later and met the real landlord that they discovered they'd been conned. Police say it is a lucrative crime taking advantage of increasingly desperate tenants. The couple have been speaking to our senior correspondent, Ronke Phillips.
We've just lost all our money and left us with nothing for the future.
They were conned out of every penny they'd saved by a fake landlord who took a deposit for a flat he did not even own.
It was 1,100 each, and we paid cash, which I should never do, but it was we had 3 days to move.
The couple spotted the Islington property for rent on a leading website, and after a viewing decided to take it immediately. They signed what they believed was a tenancy contract and were given keys and a fob for the electric security gates. It was only when they turned up 2 days later to see what furnishings they'd need that they realised it was a scam.
We met the real landlord who told us that we were about the 5th or 6th couple to turn up in the past 3 days with the same set of keys. Believing that they are going to go and live there.
It's believed this man, who called himself Mustafa Bat, is behind the deception. He'd rented the flat for 1 week last September as part of the elaborate con. Over that period, he showed it to several people, getting away with £20,000. The image of the alleged fraudster was captured when he walked another prospective tenant to this cash point so she could withdraw £4,200, which she also handed over as an advance. Detectives have already tracked down 12 victims, but believe there could be many more.
One was due to get married and they turned up at the flat expecting to move in to find that it's been a scam and that there's someone already in the property.
The worrying thing is that he's almost certainly done this before.
We believe he has done this before. We're investigating previous reports from at least 5 years ago.
I hope he gets caught and I hope he gets put away.
Alina and Duncan have now found alternative accommodation, and while they accept they were taken in, like many others, they also feel they're victims of a city where decent housing is both scarce and expensive. Ronke Phillips, ITV News.
Let's get you some advice now. I'm joined by the housing expert Henry Pryor. Thanks for coming in. Are crimes like this on the rise then?
It's something, I'm afraid, Nina, that we have seen before. We will see it again. The recent legislation that's changed the rules, particularly on short lets, means that there is a rise in the number of people effectively subletting properties that they've rented themselves. This doesn't sound to be one specifically of those instances, but I'm afraid it is something that we're going to hear about and bemoan for some time to come.
Should you ever go to a cash point and get out that deposit and give it to the person that says they are the landlord at that point?
You shouldn't. And it's rare that you should. There should be circumstances where you would pay either a letting agent or a landlord what is being termed a holding deposit. It's something that has slipped into regular practice, if you will. Letting agents, unfortunately, because of the frothy rental market and the desperate straits that many people are in the capital trying to get on to the housing ladder and find somewhere to rent, are going to extreme lengths in order to secure property when it does become available. But there are some things that people can do, some precautions that people can take. Again, recent legislation changes mean that letting agents, reputable letting agents who are renting out properties, have to display their not only their charges, so that if this sort of thing was expected, that tenants would be warned about that, but they also have to display the redress service that they are legally now obliged to sign up to. So if you are dealing direct with a landlord, obviously caution should be the watchword, but if you're dealing with a letting agent, particularly a registered letting agent, you should find that you have much less hassle.
What about if you're doing all this through website? Because most people now look at flats online, don't they? Should there be more information and checks on those websites, and should they be held into account, especially reputable ones that we all use all of the time, if things go wrong?
Well, I understand from Ronke's report earlier and other investigations that are ongoing that the Met Police are pretty confident that this is probably this particular case will have been stopped because the property was advertised on one of the bigger larger property portals, which actually, ironically, is only available traditionally for letting agents to use. So you should only find properties on the big property portals available through letting agents rather than direct from landlords. What you need to be much more careful of are the private listing sites where you can indeed be connected directly with the landlord and where this kind of possibility always exists.
OK, lots of advice there, so renter beware. Thank you very much, Henry Pryor. Thank you.